Well, no, you know that. I mean, that's called the theory of Jacob Rees-Mogg. Education does not equal intelligence. And I guess the more insecure you are, perhaps, the more conscious, deep, 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 deep down you are of your own inadequacies and your own failings, the more desperate you are to believe that you've achieved what you've achieved through talent and effort rather than through dumb luck and inherited privilege. And that means that you have no choice. If you are George Eustace, for example, you have no choice to believe that people who are really, really struggling are struggling because they don't have your talent or your levels of effort. They don't have your work ethic or whatever you want to call it. That's pure Norman Tebbit, get on your bike. In order to sustain the con that some people deserve to be obscenely wealthy, you have to also espouse the idea that some people deserve to be obscenely poor. And that those are your two extremities. But actually, you come down from obscenely wealthy, right, through the relatively comfortable. Some of us need to believe, I guess, that we are relatively comfortable through our hard work and effort and our innate talents, and that some people who are not comfortable only have themselves to blame. Why? I mean, I don't find it hard to sustain both ideas. Success is often more about luck and privilege than it is about innate talent and God-given, for want of a better word, attributes. So I mean, that's not hard, is it? That's why they hate a certain type of commentator so much, the ones that have benefited from the system and can see it really clearly and can say that's just not fair. I'd like to live in a slightly fairer world where, for example, the proportion of people who went to schools like mine going to Oxbridge wasn't so ludicrously disproportionate. But Nadeem Zahawi, the education minister this weekend, gave an interview in which he suggested he doesn't think that's a priority at all. Why not? Because it's not. These kids aren't getting into Oxford and Cambridge. Kids like me aren't getting into Oxford and Cambridge because our parents paid tens of thousands of pounds for our education. We would have got into the best universities anyway, even if we hadn't gone to public school, because we're so clever and we work so hard and we're all little geniuses. So they have to hang on to that belief. It's not for the first time. I'm very grateful for my dad's influence. My dad was under no illusions about why he was sending me to schools like that. The school he sent me to, he knew it was a golden ticket because he'd seen people with the golden ticket, less talented, less gifted, less hardworking, fly past him when he was on Fleet Street. Or all the way into the editor's office in some cases. But why can't you do both? Why can't you say, yeah, do you know what? I've done all right. I'm blooming lucky. My education, my circumstances, my contacts, whatever it was, I was just very lucky. And therefore, people who are really struggling don't deserve to be struggling. Maybe some people find it really hard to concede on any level that they don't necessarily deserve the success that they've got. And then you look at the people who seem to best embody what we're describing. You look at the Rees-Moggs and the Duncan Smiths and the George Eustaces. You look at the people who you know. If the world was equalized, if we all started in the same place in the sprint of life, if we were all lined up against each other, literally alongside each other in the starting blocks, you know exactly where the likes of Rees-Mogg and Eustace and Duncan Smith would have ended up, and where some of the callers that I've had today would have ended up, way, way, way ahead of them. And I guess that the terror of acknowledging that, and the terror of letting the forelock tuggers know that, the people who think that being at the bottom of the pile is their place, that has informed the ruling classes through the ages, hasn't it? With the sort of guillotine at the end of that particular school of thought if you don't play your card. Maybe I may be overthinking it. Anyway, if you're just tuning in and you're wondering what the hell we're talking about, another Tory, another day, another crass, callous, tone-deaf, unbelievably inappropriate suggestion that if you're struggling to make ends meet, all you need to do is get a better paid job.